Hello and welcome to another TalentLMS Mastering webinar. Today we'll explore methods of perfection in your portal organization, but we'll get to that in a bit, so let us first introduce ourselves. My name is Irini and I'm a Senior Customer Enablement Consultant, and I will be hosting this session live alongside with my good colleague Anastasia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anastasia. I'm a customer enablement consultant, and I'm here today with Irini to guide you through the steps on how you can efficiently organize your portal.
Thank you, Anastasia. And before we move on here, just a reminder, this webinar is recorded and it will be sent to you all by email. So keep an eye on your mailbox once we're done. And a live Q&A will be taking place during the session, so feel free to ask any questions about Talent or LMS. Our own Theo and Nick will be answering questions in the background during the webinar, and some of them will also be answered by us live. So feel free to use the Q&A button in order to ask us your questions. Of course, you can post anonymous questions too, and you can find the button on the meeting controls in your panel. Now, let's check what we'll cover today. So today we will have a practical application of branches and groups and demonstrate different use case scenarios. We will be tracking the training progress at a branch and a group level, and we will also share pro tips for fine-tuning your setup. And of course, the Q&A will follow. So let's get to it. And first of all, we're going to start with the branches. And what are the branches? We're talking about subdomains that you can create in your main domain that help you separate and organize your training audience that share the same criteria. It can be customized differently, they act independently, and the learners will have access only to the content available in the branch. And of course, if you set up people responsible for this branch, the branch admins, they can see reports only for the branch members. So if you serve multi-purpose training in TalentLMS, this feature helps you train literally everyone. And in order to help you understand a little bit better how we can use the branches, we have prepared a short scenario for you. So let's say that I'm an organization that would like to deliver product training to my employees, but also deliver the same training to my clients in their own independent training environment, customized with their own company's logo. Can I achieve this in Talent LMS with branches? Yes, of course we can do that. So I'm just gonna slide really quick my screen. I'm already logged in as an administrator. The administrators are the people responsible for creating the branches. And what I'm going to do is click on the dedicated button here, the branches. Now, if you have already created branches in your system, the first thing that you will see will be the list of the existing branches so far. So if you want to create a brand new branch, you will click the Add Branch button and you will end up in this setting page so you can start building your branch from scratch. Now, in order for us to save us some time for the webinar, I'm going to get into an existing branch, Priority Endeavor here, which is a branch that I have created for my external clients. And I'm going to get into the info so we can get pretty much in that same setup page. So the first thing we need to do is give our branch a name. And by giving our branch a name, this is how the URL of this branch will also be generated. So the URL of the branch comes from the name of the port, the name of the branch, followed by the main domain's URL. So this is the URL that the people will use to access your branch. And of course, you can always use the description box and write a description of what this branch is about. You can share guidelines, information of how to manage these branch, anything that you want to share with your admins, because this description will be visible only in admin roles in the general branch list that you have. Now, going further down, remember, we said that branches can be customized differently. So we have the branding section here where we can upload a different logo. I have added the Priority Endeavor logo here. Of course, you can add the different favicon if you want to. And you can have a branch theme, a different branch theme. Now, the branch themes is something that the admins can create through the accountant settings. So if you hover here and get into the portal, you will find the respective option available there to create different themes. So by clicking the drop-down menu, I have access to the entire list, and ready it is for this branch. Now, the custom homepage that you see here is something that will not show up right away when you create the branch from the beginning. You need to first set up the branch and save it. But once you do that and get back into the info tab, you will be able to customize the branch's homepage. It's a different subdomain, so it definitely has its own homepage. So if you click and enable the page, it's exactly the same setup as with the main domain. You have here on the bottom the options that will allow you to add different sections like a banner, like text and media, the course gallery, and key points. You can combine up to 10 sections, and this is what I've done so far. And of course, the eye icon here will allow you to preview the page that you customized so far. And of course, this little button here will allow you to publish the custom homepage and replace the default one. Now, going back into the info page one more time. And if we go further down, of course, we have the section of locale in case you want to set up the brands in a different language and a different time zone from the main domain. The announcement section where you can write internal or external announcements for your brands members. And of course, the users section where we can set up the default user type. This is the user type that the system will assign upon registration to every user in this branch. Again, we have access to the entire list of user types we have so far. A best practice would be to have a learner type, and of course the sign up method. Whether the admins are responsible for creating the accounts, this is the manual method, or whether you allow the users to create their profiles on their own and click on the sign up button from your homepage, the direct method. Both options are available here, and you can select the one according to your use case. And of course, last but not least, this option here, which is enabled by default. It's a type of restriction that will prevent any branch member to log in your main portal. So especially for use cases where you create branches for your partners and your external partners, this is ideal if you want to prevent them from logging in your main portal. Anything will be conducted within that branch, and the branch members will have access only within that branch. So once we're done, we can click Save. And once we click Save and create the branch, then we will have more tabs open here, like the Users tabs, where you can start adding users in this branch by clicking this button and start adding them one by one and create the user database. And of course, the courses, if you have built your courses already in the main domain, you can simply click the Add Branch button and start adding the courses one by one in this branch. And in order for you to check how this branch would look like, as long as you have added yourself as well in that branch, if you hover here in these layers and you click the priority endeavor, this is our shortcut in order for you to access the branch and act as a branch admin, where you can add users, create courses, create groups, and access the reports. So this is all about the branches. Anastasia, would you like to share some details about the groups?
Sure, Irene. Now, groups are the best for delivering courses to users because they save time for learners and admins. And using groups, you can mass assign courses to learners with just a few clicks, instead of having to add users to courses one by one. So, no more manual labor with groups. Also, groups can be used to allow learners to self-enroll in lots of courses at the same time with minimal effort using a group key. Lastly, groups can be used everywhere. In your main portal? Yes. In your branches? Of course. So let's see how they work with a solid example. Now, let's say that I would like to organize the training in my organization based on the different job roles. For example, I have customer support agents, team leaders, and supervisors. How can groups help me organize and deliver their training accordingly? Irini, back to you. Would you like to show us?
Yes. So again, I'm going to slide my screen. And there's a dedicated button here for groups. Creating groups is super easy. So we will create this time one from scratch. Again, when you click the groups, you see the group lists with the name of your groups, the description, and if those groups are living in your main domain or in a branch, you will also have the option available here. So let's use the example that Anastasia, the use case that Anastasia shared with us, and let's create the first group about the supervisors. So I'm just going to click add group, and in this area here, I'm just going to add the title of the group. Let's name it supervisors. Of course, there's a description box. Like with branches, you can share guidelines and any type of information available in admin and instructor roles. Because when we talk about groups, both admins and instructors can create the groups. They are associated with courses, therefore both roles can create the groups. So let's write here that this is the group dedicated for our supervisors, something very simple for this example. Once I'm done, I'm going to click the Save button, and that's it. The group now is created. But right now, the group is empty. So what I need to do next is add the users and the courses. A best practice would be to start with the courses first. So I'm going to click the courses, and likewise with the branches, I'm going to start adding courses one by one, like this in this group. Of course, there's a search bar in case I want to search for a certain course, and I can change pages as well and start adding courses simple like that. Now, once I'm done adding the courses, back into the users tab so I can start adding the users, the supervisors. So let's pretend that the users that I'm adding here, one by one, are my supervisors. Okay, once I'm done, now it's time to save, to use that single button that will allow me to mass enroll the courses with the users. But before I do that, just a quick note. You do see these two numbers here. The second number will show you how many courses you have in this group. And the first number will show you in how many courses that user has already been enrolled to. How is this possible? In Talent LMS, we have different ways to share courses with our users. We can do that individually through their profiles. We can do that through other groups. We can do that through branches. Users can also self-enroll in courses. But it's not that important at this point because when I do that mass assignment through the group, the system will identify what are these courses and assign the remaining ones. And the good news is that the progress in the existing ones will be respected and not affected at all. So at this point, I already have users that have been enrolled in some of these courses. So mass actions, enroll users in group courses, click the apply button, and that's it. Now, all these people will be synced in these group courses, and all of them are 6 out of 6. And that's why it's always safe to add more people or add more courses in case you want to enrich that list of courses in this group and use the mass actions button to save time from the course assignments. Another note is that users and courses can be members of multiple groups and also members of multiple branches as well. And with that said, I think that at this point, it's good. Oops, sorry. It's good to do like a wrap up, let's say, of what are the differences between a brand? So, what are the differences between a group? So, as we said, the branches are separated training environments. By using branches, we basically create brand new training environments tailored according to our audience needs. While with groups, we can save time on course enrollments and organize the users or the courses with those environments. In Talent LMS, we understand that the learner's experience is playing a big part to success. Distributing the right courses to the right users is very important, and branches and groups are designed just for that. All right, so now we got a good idea about working with branches and groups, but how can we get data related to them? Anastasia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Irini. Let me share my screen 1 second. And here we go. I guess you can see my screen. So now, as administrators, we have the dedicated button about reports on the left in our menu, but also we can quickly access reports from the right side here in the quick actions area. So let's start with branch reports. Starting with branch reports, the first thing I see are the mini statistics at the top. So we can see the completion rate, completion courses in progress. not passed and courses not started, and also the total training time of all the branches. Now below, we see the list of our branch reports, and I will click on the vendor supplier brands. And clicking on the vendor supplier brands, I see first the overview tab, and again, I see some statistics about this specific brands. And below, I see some widgets about the brand's information, courses with highest completion rate inside the brands. I get a pie chart with the progress of courses, an activity chart with logins and course completions. Now scrolling back up. I have a users tab with a list of users inside these brands. And from the courses tab, we see the list of courses that consist of the brand's course catalog, along with the assigned learners and the completed learners. As you can see, Rini, my learners are not doing so well with the course completion, so I have to be a little bit more strict with them. Well, what you can do. So we also have the timeline, right? So we can we can follow up on the activity log of these brands. Now, if we want to download, download this report, we go back to the overview and we click on the export so that we can get a more detailed view of this report. But I have already downloaded, so it looks like this. Okay, so you again have the various tabs that we saw before. So the overview tab, the courses tab, the users tab, and the timeline, but in a more detailed format. For example, here from the overview tab, you have a detailed progress of each user in each course of these brands. In case you want to follow up this report periodically, through the schedule functionality, which you can find here and is available in all the reports in TalentLMS, you can set up the frequency. So let's put it like every week on Wednesday. And you can click on schedule, or you can add on custom recipients to include the emails of all your stakeholders, or pretty much anyone you would like to receive this report, or anyone that needs to follow up on this report. And here the good news are that they do not need to have TalentLMS accounts. Of course, we can do the same with group reports, and let's hover this time. Okay, so similar to the branch reports that we saw before, we can see again the main statistics and the list of all the group reports. I will click on the mandatory training now. And we will, if we click on a group report, we can see the overview tab with the progress within the group, the users tab with the list of users, the courses tab with a list of courses, and again, the timeline. From the overview tab again, we can download the report or schedule it. And if we do that, we will see the same tabs in a more detailed format, and we can, as we saw before, with the branch reports.
Sorry,
So
I
no
was
problem.
muted. I was muted.
I saw
Um,
that.
so I have a quick question for you about reporting. As we said, we can have groups inside branches. Can we check if all the users of a branch, let's say the priority endeavor, for example, were correctly enrolled to our compliance training group?
Yes, absolutely, we can do that. In that case, we need to create a custom report. Now, custom reports help you create your own reports if you want to narrow down results and find the exact data you are looking for. The custom reports are available from Grow Plan and higher. Now, how we can access them? Hover over reports and click on custom. All right. So we click on add report. And we will start by giving our report a name. Let's call it priority endeavor and not compliance. Then we move on to the rule set. And here we can add up to 5 rules. The first, according to the scenario, you said, Irini, so we want them to belong to the brands. So we are looking for our brand's priority endeavor. And we do not want them to, we want to check if they do not belong to this group. So do not belong to group, and our group is mandatory training, so compliance training group. There we go. And let's add another rule. Now, you said users, but let's make it learners. So let's make it more specific to the learner user type. There we go. Now, when you are done with the rule sets, then on the output here, you can customize the columns of your reports. So delete any unnecessary ones. I will delete the last login. Okay, and if you want to add more attributes, so you can you can select from the drop-down list here. But in our case, we don't want anything else, no more attributes to add here. So I will click on Save. And voila, this is what you're looking for in a few seconds. Of course, exporting and scheduling are also available. But in this case, with the custom reports, you get something extra. You get the Mass Actions button that will save you time from sending a message to this list of users, or maybe adding them to another branch, or removing them from a specific group, or enrolling them to another course that you would like them to take. And of course, okay, so we saw that. That's it from me. And I think, Irini, maybe it is time to start sharing some of the tips and tricks we have for our audience today. What do you think?
Definitely. So what I'm going to do is share my screen one more time. I hope that you all see my screen now. Okay, so while we were explaining, Anastasia basically was giving the definition of the groups and explaining how we can use them and what are the benefits. He mentioned something about the self-enrollments. So how can we do that? We can do that through the group key. So basically, in this case, if you have a set of courses that you would like your learner to self-enroll en masse and not one by one, what you can basically do is create a brand new group. So let's say that I'm creating a brand new group through here. And apart from giving the name and the description, you see that there's this option of group key. So if I check the assign group key, a group key will be generated here, but of course it could be any key, so I can name it exactly how I want it. And then I'm going to click save. And what will basically happen is the group will be created, and at that point we will start adding courses in it. Now, since the users will self-enroll, it's not mandatory to add any users because it will be their own responsibility to access the group. Now, you will share that group key with your users and a typical learner, what they will need to do, so I'm going to switch as a learner really quick to show you how, will be to hover on their name and click the My Groups. And then we have this little button, Join Group. They click it and they type the key here. And then the system will do a course assignment on that user that just entered the group. Now, this is one method to save time from course enrollments, but of course, it totally depends on the user's responsibility because they need to add the group key here. However, what if you just want to save time from enrolling the mandatory training that applies for all? We can do that through the default group. Again, let me switch as an admin really quick. What we need to do is create a group with just courses in it. Again, we don't need to add any users because the system will do this work for us. And then from the account and settings, click on the users. And going into the users defaults, you see we have the default group option here. I'm going to select that group that includes those mandatory training courses. In this case, it's this, the mandatory training group, and save. And now upon registration, the user, apart from the default user type, will also be a member of that default group, and the system will enroll the group courses automatically. Please keep a note that when it comes into the default group, it can be only one. That's why we recommend using it for these courses that are mandatory for all and applicable for all. And of course, since we've discussed about branches, we have that set up also in the branches. So if I get back into the priority endeavor, go into the info tab and scroll a little bit down, you see that on the users, we also have that option available. So if you're planning to have different mandatory training for your branches as well, all you have to do is create the respective courses with the respective groups with the courses. And then from the list here, you can select the group that will work as the default group for this branch only. So upon registration, that branch member will get the courses of that group. And another tip before I pass the mic to Anastasia will be about the custom fields. And what are the custom fields? The custom fields are this type of feature that we have in Talent LMS that allow us to store additional information on user profiles. You can easily find them if you click on the account and settings and on the users tab and go all the way down to custom user fields. And from here, you can create up to 100 custom user fields. If you click add field, you give your field a name, select the input method, and of course, you can make these fields mandatory and visible on reports. Something extra with the custom user fields though. You can select where these custom user fields will exist. And you can select through the list of branches that you have. So if you have an internal branch and an external one, and for the internal branch, you want to create the employee ID, and that branch is mandatory, that custom user field is mandatory for that branch, but not for the external one, just select where that custom user field will live in. And by selecting the branch here, it will be a mandatory, for example, custom user field only for that branch. So this is how you can also create brand-specific custom user fields. Now, these are the types that I had to share from my end. Anastasia, can you share yours?
Of course, thank you, Rini. Now, from my side, I have two tips I would like to share, and let me also start sharing my screen. All right. So my first tip is related to user types and more specifically how to create brand-specific user types. Let's say that we are using branches to deliver training to our external clientele, and one of our customers would not like their learners to have access to the course catalog of their brands. In this case, what we can do is click on account settings, followed by user types. And since this is a brand-specific user type, we'll create a brand new user type rather than changing the default learner type. And while I'm waiting for my screen to load, and if you can bear with me 1 second, it will start, I think. Well, things happen in a live webinar, you know. Okay, let's do it once more. So user types. Doesn't want to collaborate today.
Do you want me to
It's
share
okay.
my screen so you can guide me through of how to do it?
Yes, Irini,
Hmm?
thank you so
Okay,
much. That would be
so
great.
let me jump in really quick. Sorry about that. You know, sometimes the Wi-Fi is not cooperating as it
Not
used
at
to.
all.
No.
Okay. So as we said, this is a brand specific user type, and we need to
Okay.
go and access user type from account and settings and user types. Perfect. So let's create a new one. And let's name it Priority Endeavor, since we are talking a lot about this brands today. So Priority Endeavor Learner. So since they will be learners, let's set the default role to learner and then move to permissions. Perfect. And then move to permissions and tackle the learner and the general permissions. And just uncheck the course catalog permission and click on Save. We have created successfully our priority endeavor learner. And now let's go back into the brands. So the priority endeavor brand, let's find it. And from the Info tab, scroll down, Irini, until you find the User section. And there you have the default user type. Select the new user type that we have just created. And we have just set it as the default one, and this will affect every new user that you are adding in these brands. And now, if we already have learners in place, we just need to make sure to change the user type individually. Okay, so we will need to just go to one learner type and change their user type there to the new one that we have already created and save. That's it. Now, well, I have another tip about automations. Would you maybe like to have another chance with my Wi-Fi? It seems that it's working now.
Okay, so I'm stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. So let's move back to my screen. So we were talking about automations. And the automations feature is available to Pro plans and higher. And automations are here to make your life easier as an administrator because they save you a lot of time from doing manual labor. Now, let's say that you want to create a learning path of courses that will apply only within a branch. In other words, a learner finishes one course and another one is automatically assigned to them right away. Now, click to add a new automation. Name your automation. Let's make it again priority endeavor. So priority endeavor learning path. And then select the event on course X completion and assign courses Y. Now, select your courses accordingly. First one, the one that the learner needs to complete, so employee training 1-1, and then the one that will be assigned to them. So this one, advanced features of TalentLMS. And now let's move to the filter. We can filter to make it specific to a brand, so our priority endeavor brands. And here, a quick note, you can also make it group specific. You can also make it a group specific automation. But if you select both filters, and let's put it like the mandatory training one, this means that the learning path will be created for the group living inside the priority endeavor brands. Now click save and you are all set up. And with that said, I think we should move on our Q&A. Irini, what do you say?
Yes, we can definitely do that. So I see that you have picked up some questions already. So since you're still sharing your screen before
That's right.
your Wi-Fi abandons you, let me
Totally.
start with the questions that you picked up. So there's a question from Gutam. I hope that I pronounced that correct. Can we have common users across different branches?
I think, Irene, you have already mentioned that. So yes, we can have users that belong to more than one branches. And with the option that you shared before, that disallow members of the branch to enter the main domain. So the user will only have access to the different branches, but not in the main domain.
Thank you for that. And I see a question about automation. So since you're already
Oh,
there,
yes.
it comes from Mariah. Can we use automations to automatically deactivate users?
Yes. Oh, great question. So we have this automation. So you can select, you can just type deactivate, and you will find that you have three automations about deactivating users. So you can either, you can select one of them. So we can deactivate users either if they have passed like Z hours after the last login. So it has been some time before they have logged in the site deploy portal, and we can deactivate them. We can also select this one. So 0 hours after course X completion, deactivate user. And this means that, for example, if the user has already completed the training, we can select the last course they need to complete. Let's put this one. And then how many hours after the completion of the course, and click save. And this means that the user will be deactivated 2 hours after they have completed the last course of their training. So there you go. Mariah, I hope we answered your question.
Are you ready for two more before I help you out with the rest?
Yes, tell me.
Okay, so there's a question from Jake. Is there a way to share files with certain people in my branches?
Oh, yes, this one is also very interesting. So the quick answer is yes, and let's go and see that. So if we go to our branches, let's select the priority endeavor one. That is the start of the show today. And here you will see that apart from the users, courses, and info tab, you have a files tab, right? So here is where you can upload files. And let me just drag and drop one file. So you can click upload files, sorry, like this. And here, drag and drop this file. So it is being uploaded really quickly this time. And so we have uploaded the file we would like to share with the users. And now by enabling this option, uh, well, now it doesn't want to work now. So by enabling this option, we have shared this file with the users and everybody will be able to see it. Of course, we can do the same with the groups. So we can also share files with inside our groups. So again, you have the Files tab, and you can see that we have already shared a file with the users of the mandatory training group. So there you go, Jake.
Thank you for the extra tip also. So another advanced functionality for the group, sharing files with your people.
Mhm.
And then there's another question from Maria. Can we create brand-specific notifications as well? For example, a different welcome email.
Yes, Maria. Quick answer is yes, and let's go to see that. So from inside our notifications, you can select to add a new notification, but we already have one about when users are created inside the portal. So to save time, let's go and edit this one. So user registration. So on user create is the event, and here you will see that there is a filter, so we can filter by our specific brands, so our priority endeavor brands. And this means that the users of the priority endeavor brands will be the only ones getting the welcome message that we have typed for them here. Of course, we can modify the message too and use the smart text here and save. And this will make our notification brand specific.
Okay, thank you for that. So let me just give you a break and start
Okay, thank
answering some
you.
questions as well. So let me just share my screen first. I hope that you do see my screen. So
Yes.
starting with Jonathan, can a user be a learner in one group and an instructor in a second group or the same branch? Now, that's a very interesting question, and thank you for asking that because it gives us a lot of room to clarify more about the groups. Now, a group can definitely live in a branch. So we can definitely create groups within our branches to organize our users, to organize our courses, and of course, save time from the course assignments. Now, uh, the groups do not behave like the branches. They do not have an admin group. So when we add people in a group, and not all of them in the courses, then all they will get for these courses would be according to the user type they have. So if we have admins or instructors, they will be instructors for these courses. If we have simple learners in that group, they will be learners in that courses as well. So The quick answer in that question is no. Unfortunately, the role that a person has cannot define what would be the role that they will have in this group, but it's defined by the general user type they have, and the role is defined in the courses that consist that group. But let me show you a really quick tip. So if I access a course really quick from my course list, let's get into this one, for example. You see that I have a couple of users here. That all they have is the learner because these people are learners. The user type is learners. But I also have me, who I am an instructor because I'm a super admin with instructor permissions as well. What you can do, though, in case you want to achieve what you're looking for, is a workaround where you can have a group with the courses that people will act as instructors by default, like me, and another group with the courses that your instructors and your admins will also need to act as learners. And once you do that, then you will go in each of these courses of this group and simply change the role through here. So basically with this option, we do not change the general user type that a person has, but only the role they have for that specific course. So you can have one person wearing different hats with different courses, being learners in some courses, but also keep their admin or instructor permissions in case they have those respective roles. I hope that this helped. However, if you want to elaborate more on that or if you need more assistance on that, please send us an email to success@talentlms.com. Then we have another questions. Do learners see the groups to which they are assigned, or do only admins see the groups? Now, in terms of the learner user, let's say, yes, they can see what are the groups that they're members of, even if you have assigned to them in that groups. And they can do that like this. So if I switch as a learner really quick, and hover, you see that I have an option here that says My Groups. If I click it, I can see the list of the groups that I'm a member of. But apart from that, I cannot do anything else. It's just for their own information that they're members of this group. So I cannot click it, I cannot change it. So yes, they do have that information, but in reality, they cannot do much. It's just an FYI, let's say. And then there's another question from Kate. Sorry, Kate. That was the question that I just answered. And there was a question that I quickly dismissed, which was very interested, but I really want to answer it live. So bear with me a few seconds to find it. I'm really sorry for this. Yes, it's from Haley. Clarifying question. If someone is a branch admin, are they able to import data, course completion done of the system, for example? Main system admins may import, but I can't find import from the branch admin. Correct. Unfortunately, you cannot find that functionality within a branch because the branch admins are a little bit limited compared to the super admins and the admins from the main domain. So let me switch back as an admin to show you how. Now, right now, I'm a super admin in my main domain, and you can see that I have all these buttons here on the side and the central functionalities. If I switch as a branch admin within my branch, as you can see, I can add users, I can create courses, create groups, and of course, access all the reports of my system. But apart from that, I cannot use the import functionality. I cannot create custom reports. I cannot affect the customization. These functionalities happen only centrally. So if that branch admin is just a simple admin type, and you have applied the restriction in your branch as well, unfortunately, they won't be able to help you out unless they are a super admin where they can bypass that restriction and simply like that, they can go back in the main domain and use any central functionality through here. But at the end of the day, if you are a super admin, you can oversee and manage your admins through the main domain as well. So if you want to, let's say, import users, their historical data, yes, you will need to do that through the accountant settings and the import-export functionality. I hope that helped. And then there's another question coming from an anonymous attendee. Can I create users in branches in bulk? Very interesting question. And thank you for asking that because it will give us an option to demonstrate the import functionality a bit. So yes, you can definitely do that. So if we go back into the accountant settings and hit the import button, this is the area where we will drag and drop our file. All we have to do is just download the sample Excel file if we don't already have one. So let me just quickly open it up for you. It looks like this. So just to give you a little bit of context here, this Excel file already has examples, already has the attributes that you need in order to import the users. So what we need is the username, first name, last name, and the email. The bio is a column that you can skip. At this point, if I add the lines with the details of my users and import the file in this area, the users will be created in the main domain. But this is not what our anonymous entity is looking for. They want to create that list in the branch. So what we need to do is just add another column in that file and add the branch attribute. And then make sure that I will fill in the lines for each user with the name of the branch that they will live in. Just note that the name of the branch should be an exact match, exactly how you have named it. And of course, you can combine the lines with different users that will living in different branches as well. Once you save your file, make sure that you will drag and drop it here. And this is how you can directly create the users within the branch rather than in the main domain and then add them one by one. I hope that helped. Anastasia, is there any other question that you would like to answer? Just give me a break and rest my
Yes, of
voice a bit.
course. Yes, Irini. So, yes, I have a question from Daniel. Asking, is the best way to create a learning path by using the automation? Well, let me share my screen and just tell you, Daniel, that this is one way to create the learning path. And with the automations that we saw before, so we saw that we can create a learning path inside the branch, but also we can create learning paths in our main domain. And this is if you would like to just do not want to overwhelm the users by assigning all the courses at once to them. So with the automation, the users upon completion, as we saw before, so when the user complete one course, they can be assigned automatically to one or more courses that you would like to share with them. So this is the best way if you don't want to for your users to be overwhelmed and see like a lot of courses that they need to complete when they go to my courses. All right. So, but of course, there is another way to create a learning path, and this is if you set prerequisites from inside of one of the courses, one of your courses, and like edit a course. We will show it really quickly. Sorry, I'm not an instructor. So let me just move to change to instructor and just add quickly a learning path from the prerequisites of the course. But now, of course, my Wi-Fi again is not wanting to collaborate. So yes, okay, let's try it now. So for example, here, that I am an instructor, I can go to course options and then rules and path. And from here, if we scroll down, this is another way that we can create a learning path. And from here, we can add the prerequisites for this course. And we can also add alternative courses and save. And now this is a different way of us creating a learning path for this course. So this course cannot be completed unless these two courses, so either this course or this course are completed. I hope this answered your question, Danielle. And Irini, are there any more? I think Theo and Nick
Yes,
are
I
doing like a
have a
great
couple.
job.
Yes, yes, they are on fire and they're answering all the questions in the
Yes.
background, helping me out with my voice again. So, yeah, there's a question from Katie. If I share a course in two branches, do I get different course reports?
Oh, great question, Katie. Let me change back to admin. So if we share a course into branches, we do not get different course reports if we are an administrator in the main domain. So from reports in the course reports, we will see the report of this course, and we will get we will get the completion and the progress of the users of the course. Let me just select this one, asking the right questions. So here we will get all the users that are assigned to the course, and from the unit matrix, we can filter the different branches. So let's click on the priority endeavor. So here we see, for example, only the users that are added in this branch if we filter, but generally if we export here, we will get the progress of all the users that are added in all the branches of our portal. Of course, this is different from the branch admins. As we saw, they have limited access to reports, and a branch admin can see the course report for the users only within the branch. And I think I'm also a branch admin for priority endeavor. So if I just switch to my priority endeavor branch and the Wi-Fi wants to collaborate with me, if, for example, I will access the same course report from here, so I was asking the right questions, you will see that I only get one learner in progress. So in my unit matrix, Theo Jones, again, is the only learner that we saw before in the unit matrix.
I have a
So
couple
there we go.
of two last questions before we
Mm-hmm.
wrap up. So there's one question from Gina. Using the custom reports, can you remove users from courses? I think I didn't see that in the mass actions before. Can you check again?
So we want custom reports. Sorry, here we go to custom reports, and let's go to the one that we created before. So I think it was priority endeavor. So we can filter to find the course that we have created. Let's click here to run the report again that we created before. And let's see from the mass actions. So Gina, you didn't see enroll from course? There you go. So you can enroll to a specific course and unenroll. Okay, so you can click enroll from course and just select the course that you would like to unenroll the users from. It was that one, Rini, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And the
This
last
will,
one.
sorry,
Yes.
I think I didn't mention that this will be applied for all the users that appear in the report, of course.
Great. And then there's another one from Anna. How many groups can I have in a branch? Can I have a group shared in many branches?
Well, these are two different questions. You can create inside the brands as many groups as you want. But if you have created the groups in your main domain, um, you can only make them like brand specific, and only a group can be added to just one brand. But there is an alternative to this one. So we can only enroll the same group in different branches if we make it a default group. So as we saw before, if we click on this branch and from the info tab, the only way to make one group common for all the branches is if we scroll down and find the default group. So here, for example, we can make mandatory training group a default group for all our branches. And this means that all the members that will be registered to this branch will automatically get all the courses that are inside our mandatory training group. And I can one branch more. So here we go. We can also make default group, our mandatory training. Here too, there you go, we save, and we have shared the same group within two different branches.
Thank you for that. And there's the last question that I would like to answer. So let me just share my screen really quick before we wrap up. There's a very interesting question about Lisa. Can I send a notification to users when I add them in a group or a branch? The answer, Lisa, to this question is yes, we can do that. So I'm already logged in as an admin again. If we go on the notifications and click the add notification, you can find events related to groups. So if I type in group, you see the event on group assignment. If I type branch, you will see the event on branch assignment. So basically, according to the case, you select the event, you select who the recipient would be of that notification, let's say the related user, and then in this area, you will write your email that will possibly welcome those users in that group or in that branch. Just remember that the first line in the message body is the subject line. And you can also use smart text to populate user details or other information in that message area. You give your notification a name, you save, and that's it. So every time you will be adding a user in a branch or in a group, according to the email you have composed in that notification, they will receive that email on their mailbox. And I've seen a couple of questions about if the recording of this webinar will be shared afterwards. Yes, it will be shared, so keep an eye on your mailbox. And I think that's a wrap, basically. So thank you all for joining today. I'm sure that there will be more questions on the features we discussed. So send us an email to success@talentlms.com. And of course, we're very excited to see your comments. So feel free to do so by following the link posted in the chat. Again, thank you all for joining. Thank you, Nick and Theo, for being in the background, helping us out.
So thank you, everybody, and thank you for bearing with my internet connection. And until next time, right, Irini?
Happy training. Yes, until next time, happy training. Take care and stay safe all.
Take care.